Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I haven't done one of these tours in gosh knows when. I know I did it when I first moved into my apartment and then maybe a few months after, but I guess I'd give you guys an update. I guess you could consider this a game room tour, but my whole apartment is unfortunately somewhat of a game room tour. But let me continue. I'm sorry if the animals get in the way, if that's something that offends you, but judging by all the cat and dog videos on YouTube, I think there's probably an audience for that out there. Alright, so some of the stuff's already here. This is the dog and cat toys that are usually spread around the house by the end of the night. It's around 7 o'clock as of this recording, so I guess it's still early for them. And those are some shoes. So, if you didn't know. So that's my record player, record cleaning stuff in that little container, and records. I probably should collect more of them, but the new ones are quite expensive, and the old ones, even though sometimes they're in good shape, they smell like mildew, and I hate looking through them, actually. I like to buy the new ones, and usually most of my favorite bands have newer records. I was looking through records yesterday, actually, believe it or not. If that shocks you in any way, I don't know why it would, but I'm trying to make this interesting. So, this is one of many nerdy shells. My sister found these when they came out with the new Ghostbusters reboot film. They started releasing classic Ghostbusters merchandise, and I was looking for both of these Hot Wheel cars, and my sister found them at Walmart and asked me if I wanted them, even though she already bought them. So it's just like, how much were they? And then I just gave her the money and I kept them, and they look pretty good for generic Hot Wheels cars. I know they have more expensive ones. I think they have a slightly bigger $50 one, and then there's like a $200 one that's about this size. This is a model, not a Hot Wheels car. I don't know what to compare it to. It's about the length of a DVD case, and it's like die cast and super detailed. But I don't spend that kind of money on die cast cars. If I had that kind of money, I would either buy a Sideshow figure or a Hot Toys figure, preferably Hot Toys. I think even though Sideshow is really good, I think Hot Toys is the cream of the crop when it comes to really detailed action figures or collectibles, in my opinion. I have both, as you'll eventually probably see in this video. So here's a bunch of random stuff. Frank Zappa themed beers. I got a few of them. They were actually pretty good. His albums are hit or miss, so the beers were more hit than the albums, I guess. But I do like Frank Zappa as a musician. And this I actually stole from my old house with my roommates. I didn't steal it. I actually had to, once we moved out, because I had to leave because roommate was sort of stealing money and the bills weren't getting paid, and I was working all the time, so I couldn't address that really because I was never home. I was just like, here's the rent money. Apparently I was the only one that was paying rent, and that rent that I was paying wasn't going towards anything, which should have made sense to me, but unfortunately I was too busy to notice. That's what happens. Unfortunately, you want to trust people, but sometimes when you trust them, they end up doing stuff. But on a positive note, here are some pretty sweet pins. I'm sure the pin quality of these are probably shit, but they look really cool. We have Freddy, Jason, and Leatherface. I think that's all of them. I'm trying to remember if I had a Michael Myers or not, but they have a little cap on them, but I'm sure these aren't the best pins in the world, and it says like a Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know how well this is going to turn out, but hopefully it'll turn out decent. Here are a bunch of collectibles. Some stuff are heirlooms, like this axe handle was my grandfather's that I inherited when he passed away. That ashtray was a souvenir from my grandmother when she passed away. I just grabbed whatever. I grabbed some stuff that maybe other people didn't think were important, but I just grabbed stuff that helped me remind remind those people of me. And yeah, in order to save some room, I got a little bit creative. So you see a T-800 riding Grimlock from Transformers with a minigun. That's the DC Direct version of Harley Quinn in the Arkham Knight design, which is my favorite design, as you'll eventually see, because there's quite a few of those designs. I always thought that was a cool gothic little design for her, and since she symbolizes, like, I don't know, one of my favorite times of growing up in the early 90s when the animated series came on, and she was created specifically for that series. So it's not always about like the character, although as I started to collect and read the comic books, she actually has like a decent comic book and shit like that. But I like her little look and what she represents, and it just reminds me of being a kid and running home every day to watch the animated series. She was one of the few characters that were created specifically for that series, and I always look forward to the episodes with the Joker on them. And except for a few Joker episodes, she was always in it, so she was like part of the deal. And I already have a Joker, and Joker's like super cliche. Harley Quinn's super cliche now, but when I started collecting, she wasn't as popular. But now that Suicide Squad is out, I might get sick of her by now. Maybe start collecting something else. Who knows? But yeah, and then you have the Rookie from the Ghostbusters video game, and then Amanda Ripley from Alien Isolation, one of the few popular human characters that I actually could get, because usually when I see the cool NECA figures, especially with Alien, I don't have the money, and then when I do have the money and go to try to purchase them, they have like all the characters that died in the film or in the game that you don't want when you wanted the alien or the human character. So I saw that particular Amanda Ripley. Her jumpsuit's very reminiscent of her mother's and Alien Sigourney Weaver in the first Alien film. So I thought that was cool. She's actually part of the canon. If you watch the Aliens director's cut when Sigourney Weaver's in the hospital, but again, it's either called the director's cut or special edition. I don't know which one it's called, but that's the one you should watch anyway. It's a little bit longer. It's not gonna make your brain explode. It's an awesome movie, but Amanda Ripley is referenced in a unique way. That's all I'll say. We have two storybooks. I used to get these from the library. This was from a yard sale. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. There's like really awesome film stills in there from the films, and that's from the Droids cartoon. There was also an Ewoks cartoon. They came out right after Return of the Jedi. I don't know if you can see C-3PO and R2-D2 were in that cartoon. Yeah, Anthony Daniels actually did the voice of that. So we're down here. You have some video game collectible stuff. You have Killer is Dead, which is an awesomely artistic game. I don't know about the quality of the game, but I think the artistic style of the game makes it quite cool. You have Lunar Silver Star Story. I'd like to get. I don't care if I get like all the pendants and shit that came with it, but I'd like to at least get the hardcover book and the original casing of Lunar Eternal Blue, which is the sequel. I was only able to get this one when it first came out, and the second one is just as rare and quite expensive. So one of these days, hopefully, I'll get it. Then you have the Life is Strange Collector's Edition. I can't rave enough about that game, but a lot of people are turned off about playing a high school girl and playing from a female like perspective or whatever, but it's really a cool game if you can get past that, especially if you're like a fan of Twin Peaks and stuff to do with time travel and alternate dimensions and the butterfly effect and all that stuff. It's really cool. It's a really dark game. I built this Chun-Li from separate pieces and painted her. She was part of a model kit. I'd still like to work on her and put some sort of finish where she's not as glossy in some areas and glossy in others, and has a matte finish in certain areas. But I'll get to it eventually. This is Morrigan. She's from Darksiders. If you don't know, Chun-Li's from Street Fighter. That's also a Capcom character. I'd like to do the exact same thing. They're really fun to put together, but you have to have quite a bit of tools, like tools for sanding. You have to wear a face mask because the resin dust is poisonous, and you got to sand them and drill holes and take little pieces of. What I did is those metal flags that you mark your property line with. If you're familiar with those, I cut those in little pieces, so whenever there was a joint, I like drilled a hole in between the two pieces and then cut like a little metal rod to put in between the two joint pieces and glued them together. You're really supposed to do that. I think there's official stuff you can buy, but you can pretty much use anything as long as it's strong and keeps the pieces sturdy. There's a NES themed Batman. There's Beth, which was like my favorite character from The Walking Dead. I haven't seen the new season of The Walking Dead, so I don't know if it's any good. But and then there's Major Motoko Kusanagi from Ghost in the Shell. So Freddy figures, my friend's wonderful son played with one of my Freddy figures and broke off all his claws, which was awesome. But I mean, it's a little kid. What can you do? Their Snatcher, the real version, actually paid only $15 for that. There's people paying $300 for that now. But I got it when nobody cared about it, so I didn't get it because it was fashionable. But even if something was fashionable, I'd still get it. I just get what appeals to me. I know that's hard for some people to believe. Yeah, there's Lego shit in here and a bunch of Resident Evil action figures that are apparently worth something in their package. I don't think they're worth anything in the shape that I have them in now, but you know, whatever. Can't win them all. So, here's a Ghostbuster thing. I probably already filmed that. Let me back up. There's pop vinyls. I'm not a huge collector of them. I just collect the ones that appeal to me. There's mostly female. I'm waiting on the Scott Pilgrim pop vinyl with the guitar and maybe his other girlfriend. I think there's his other roommate that's really not that popular in either the comic book or the movie, so I don't know why they made him out of all people. I thought they at least make like the main villain, but they didn't. So you have Elizabeth, and I wish they had the Noir Elizabeth from the DLC. I would have much rather got her. And there's Harley Quinn from Arkham Knight again. And then there's a diecast Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad. Some stuff I leave in the box, some stuff I don't. I like the pop vinyls in the box, except for the Ghostbusters ones I pulled out because, you know, they're Ghostbusters. I had to take them out of the box. But yeah, I like them in the box because they're stackable, but that's most of the pop vinyls I have, beside the Ghostbusters one I took out of the box. That's a pop vinyl right there. Just because I like them stacked when they're in the box, but I open up the Ghostbuster one. Again, I'm repeating myself. And yeah, I don't want to be one of those people that have a whole wall of those things, but I try to collect the ones that appeal to me franchise-wise. Then there's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, which is pretty cool. He plays the Ghostbusters theme song, which you've probably heard 10 billion times. There's up there, it's another version of Harley Quinn from Arkham Knight. There's Freddie Mercury. I had that forever. I was a pretty big Queen fan. I kind of eased off after I overplayed the records. There's my favorite Freddy figure, even though I think his sweater is a little bit baggy, but that's from A Nightmare on Elm Street 3. That was NECA, by the way, that made that one. That's Hot Toys, and it's super detailed. You're not going to see it in here, but the eyes are creepy. That's Hot Toys. That's Sideshow. That's what Harley Quinn looked like mostly on the cartoon series, except she's wearing a corset here and military boots, which she doesn't wear in the cartoon show. That's Ares from Final Fantasy VII. There's a Guilty Pleasure, the Sailor Moon figure, that's Sailor Mars. And there's Hot Girl from the DC universe. She's part of the DC Bombshell line, where she is designed to look like a World War II pinup girl. My mother actually got me that, which was cool. Even though I'm not as familiar with Hot Girl, I think she's the coolest figure. My mom picked her out, so I had no idea. It was a good call because most of these resin statues are all solid color, but I like the transparent resin where the gum is, and for the jetpack, you can see like a little flame coming out of it. There's all my DVDs. You can see the Star Trek donations right there, which was awesome from Vinny Corleone, as well as the Xbox too. I think he mentioned that in his video when he was showing off his Xbox. You probably see more of his videos, that's why I say it. I know I'm not as popular as I don't do like as many video vlogs. Most of my stuff are gameplay videos. Some of these are guilty pleasure. I don't have anybody to impress at the moment, so if I have guilty pleasure films, it's just sometimes you watch shit that just makes you feel good or takes you back to a certain amount of time, even though it's embarrassing or childish or whatever. You have company over, you turn the videos the other way so they don't know what you watch. Although I'm recording this on YouTube. There's Amiibos, same deal. I like the packaging a lot. Sometimes if I just like the packaging, I'll leave the things in the packaging. And there's the TV. I just made it play music videos. So the picture is blurry because it's some low res cat, but it's actually a 4K 3D LG TV. It's very nice. It's really thin too, although heavy as shit. And then down there is where the PS2, PS3, Xbox 360, and PS4 is. I currently found a backup 360, so I was backing up my games on there. I was really worried about finding that because they still make PlayStation 3s, although they're hard to find, but I really want to get a backup 360 because there's some of my favorite games have ports on there that are superior than the PlayStation 3, so I wanted to make sure I got those. But I don't know whether I'll have two 360s hooked up or just one, but for right now that's there while I downloaded it and installed all the games because it has the bigger hard drive. I figured erasing and putting games back and forth would be harder on the hard drive, so I'm trying to figure out whether that should be the main one or not. I don't know. But I do appreciate the one that I had. It was awesome. It still is awesome. Just trying to figure out things. I gotta find somewhere to put that long comic book box. There's a little memorial area to my grandparents on the wall. My grandmother was a Marine, and there's my grandfather, a rosary, and there's all these little trinkets and stuff over there. I'm running out of time. I need to get a new battery for this thing. But yeah, you see here, my grandmother helped me build a fort for my action figures. And this was actually a super horn, which was this thing you could program your own horn sounds into a car. I don't know why my dad would get that. Anyway, hopefully I can relax now. Sorry if I sound out of breath. I can't breathe through my nose because of my allergies. So when I'm talking, I can't breathe in all that well. Plus, I don't know, I kind of feel like I'm talking in front of a crowd, just like the videos. Why I don't do a lot of video vlogs. But the battery ran out. This battery obviously has a memory built into it, so it's hooked up to the AC adapter. It's quite unfortunate, but luckily I can buy, I think, a replacement battery fairly cheaply. But yeah, it's a shame, but I got this secondhand, so, whatever, beggars can't be choosers. But yeah, there's a Guitar Hero Rock Band stuff, which is a guilty pleasure. Sweeney Todd poster there. I'd like to have a more iconic film or a more favorite film than that. I like the film Sweeney Todd. When I got it at the time, I saw it in the theaters and I was super stoked because I thought it was awesome. This really bloody musical. I was a fan of Tim Burton, and I don't know. I guess I was kind of just stoked about the film. You know, sometimes you get caught up in the height of all the excitement of like a new experience, and then you like go, it's like, oh, I want a fucking poster. Then later on, you're like, it wasn't bad, but I don't know if I want a poster on my wall. This poster, however, is a staple. I know a lot of people don't like Ghostbusters 2, but it's quite a nostalgic experience for me. I like it quite a bit. I remember still to this day seeing it in the theater, seeing the 1989 Batman trailer before it even started, and it was awesome. I remember when I was in New York City not too long ago, June, and we were, sorry if I say all the time, I do that a lot, sorry for saying sorry, but we were in the subway system, and I kept on thinking about the River of Slime from that film. I like it a lot. It's not as good as the original, but to me it's right up there. But you know, I might just be biased when I feel that way. Who knows? There's also a Breakfast with Tiffany's poster. I don't even like that film, which I have seen. I don't own it. The light's shining on it, and I'm hooked up to a tether because the battery's dead. I don't know if I can get close enough where the light doesn't show, but yeah. I just thought it was kind of iconic. It's kind of like Bill Murray that had the Marilyn Monroe cardboard cutout in front of the opening of Ghostbusters when he's giving that psychic test with the cards where the lady had to guess, and the dude's like, oh, a couple of wavy lines, and it was, and he shocked him anyway, and the sign, it was spray painted like Burn in Hell Bakeman. There's a little Marilyn Monroe standout. Oh, that frame right there, that's actually Gwen when she broke her hip. That's an x-ray of it. I thought it looked cool. I went to Goodwill and got a frame and put a white background on it, and it shows up quite well. And there's miscellaneous stuff like the Amiibos again, like I kind of showed, and those are my games. Hopefully I can get closer to this since I'm hooked up to this tether. I guess this is what it feels like if you have to be on some sort of life support, if you are actually aware of everything. There's controllers and stuff there. It's more organized than it looks. It's just that I didn't roll up the controller wires because I don't want shorts in the controllers. And then you have the PlayStation 3 games, which is PS3, 1, 2, and 3. They're all in binders. I have all the cases for them, but I just don't have the room to have them all on display. It would be nice, but they literally cover the whole walls. It's quite a bit of games, considering I had to have 3 different binders for them. And then we have PlayStation 4 and Xbox, and that's the recording, and behind that are like limited edition game cases, as well as some PS2 cases. And then my music CDs are here. Well, the ones I like, I have other ones elsewhere. I put the ones I actively listen to on this shelf. And then I recently went to the retro store and got these for about $2 a piece, so you might be seeing these soon. Star Wars Episode 3, not mind-blowing. It's made by the collective who made Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb. It's pretty great if you like hack and slash games and like the battle system in Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb. Not as good as Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb in my opinion, but pretty good. Animusha 2. Now I only need to get 3 and 4. I really like 3 the best, but you know, I was happy to find Animusha 2. I'm pretty excited about playing that. You'll probably see that. Spy Hunter. I didn't like the sequel so much. I don't know why. They were pretty much same way gameplay mechanics. This one just seemed more polished, even though it's really hard. It's one of those games that has like mission objectives, and you have to finish every single one in a certain amount of time. Otherwise, you have to do the whole level over again. It's pretty frustrating. And for a PlayStation 2 game, and it was an early PlayStation 2 game, but still, by the time the PlayStation 2 game came out, I figured games would start becoming more lenient, but since I guess it was an early one, some games' old habits from the PlayStation 1 and Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, some strict rules still apply, but it's really good. It's made by Pandemic, I think. No, it's not. I thought it was. It's actually, I believe, made by the people who made Terminator 3 Salvation, which was actually a decent game. But it's a fun game where you're on linear tracks that branch. It feels a lot like a 3D version of the arcade game. I just don't know why you're forced to complete mission objectives. There's Bullet, which kind of look like Bayonetta. I haven't personally played it, but it just looks like an action hack and slash game. I'm not expecting much for it, but for the price, I figured if anything, it has cool box art. I don't know. It still came with the poster. I don't know how much the person who owned it actually played it. But yeah, like all those games are like $2 to $3. I think the most expensive one was like $4.99. I think that was Animusha 2, or might have been Bullet, which I don't know. Like this one I got from GameStop, and the other ones I got from this secondhand store. But yeah, the great thing about the secondhand store that I got these at, which is the one I typically go to, this is the one near my mom's house. It's like, instead of having to ask, I think that either, I don't think they do, where people take really good care of their stuff, which again, I don't think they do. I think they run it through that machine. I still got the stickers and shit on them. I'll eventually get those off. I really don't care about whether them having stickers on them or not. When it comes to that stuff, I'm not putting them on display, but I know it looks gross in this video. But the most part, they usually use plastic stickers that come right off. It's not a big deal. I wish more people use plastic stickers, but I think they run them through that machine because the discs look pretty much brand new for the most part. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, my computer's in there, the Wii, the PlayStation 2, not much has changed. I guess I can show you real quick. Alright, this is the hallway. Another DC bombshells. I should have did some research. I don't know, I don't read Aquaman and not really into it. I know more about the Marvel universe. I've been recently getting more into the DC. I've been reading the Harley Quinn comic books, which are absolutely manic, as well as the Batman graphic novels, because there's just so much going on in the universe. Like, if I read every issue, you'd have to get like every single superhero issue, and they're all related. And I typically like independent graphic novels as I've gotten older that don't involve superheroes, so I just tend to like the more popular stories, but we'll do our best. This is Harley Quinn. I can't even see if you can see the whole thing because I'm trying to point at the same time. So that's Harley Quinn. These are all designed to be bombshells, like on the side of airplanes. They had their own comic book series. I found one of them, and it's pretty cool. It's like a World War II take on this. This is Hawkgirl, Catwoman, Poison Ivy, Supergirl. I don't know who she is. She's like the girl in the Aquaman universe. Like, I don't really care about Aquaman. I heard he's cooler than what he is. I don't know. I don't read his comic books. I just remember him on the cartoon swimming in the ocean and talking to fish and having like dolphins and stuff following him and riding on waves. It's really, really bizarre looking to me, as well as, even though most of these characters are bizarre in their own right, so I don't know. Anyway, it's Catwoman, Wonder Woman, Batgirl, and then the Black Canary, sorry. I think I stuttered when I said that. I was looking what the cat did. That's Harley Quinn from Arkham City. You can see her holding her old nurse's uniform from Arkham Asylum. It's a shame that they put the remastered versions on indefinite hold. I was really looking forward to those, as they're some of my favorite 7th gen games. I really hope they eventually come out, and when they do, they come out halfway decent. But that was a really cool picture, and at first I thought they made it for the poster, but when I got the book that has all the art for the Arkham games, that was actually one of the conceptual drawings, which was really cool. That's a painting one of my friends made for me. She painted that for me. I thought it was kind of cool. It's more impressionistic than anything if you like detail paintings, but I like it. And these used to be in the kitchen, but I put them on the wall yesterday. And these are little copies of older comic books. They look kind of cool. They really complement the thermostat. And this is the kitchen. Not much has changed here. Um, you can see there's little models and shit up here. I saw that my grandmother saved the models I built when I was a kid when I used to go over her house in the summer. These were from the dollar store. You get like 2 wooden panels and punch out the wood and sand it and then put them together, and then we would glue them so they'd be permanent. It was a Walking Dead head with the screwdriver in it. I put a new screwdriver in it because when they were going through my stuff, they lost the screwdriver. Go figure. When my aunt was over, I should have. It's my fault for not taking whatever was over there earlier, but you know, what can you do? There's various Ghostbusters action figures from Extreme Ghostbusters, which is kind of what Dan Aykroyd envisioned Ghostbusters 3 to be like, where they passed on a torch, where they actually had a cartoon series that did that. If you're wondering what that sound is, it's Gwen walking. Then there's a California Raisin Bank, and a weird Ninja Turtle looking troll that I got from the flea market. And there's a love machine robot there that was a Valentine's gift at one time. I think my mom gave it to me. It was one of those, I'm sorry, you still won't have a girlfriend type deals. I don't think it was like that. I think she was just trying to do something nice. And that's actually my first Ghostbusters action figure I ever got, was Peter Venkman. And that's a thermos to my old Nintendo themed lunchbox. One side has the Legend of Zelda 2, and there's a candle from a birthday cake. I was probably too old to have that type of candle, which I guess makes it kind of funny. But still, it's pretty sweet. It's a Spider-Man candle. That's the bed. It's unfortunately only a twin bed for right now, because I had a bed in my storage unit when I was in between moves, and even though I paid insurance, the wonderful people didn't climate control it, and my mattress got moldy from the moisture. And this is a red chest, mostly filled with old DVDs that I got Blu-ray versions of, and video game cases, and Dreamcast stuff. Can't forget about the Dreamcast stuff. And this is the computer. This is where all the magic of my videos happen, if you want to refer to it as magic. There's a computer desk. This was originally my grandmother's kitchen table. Most of the stuff in here that you'll see is secondhand. This used to be the living room TV, and now it's geared towards just being the bedroom TV. The Wii's hooked up. The cord won't let me look at it, but you already know what the Wii looks like. I'm so sorry all my videos don't turn out the way I want it to. It's frustrating for me too. But yeah, I might hook up my old. I'm hoping it's compatible with Windows 10. I don't know. I'm sure I'll probably be able to find some workaround. But yeah, I might start recording PlayStation 2 games and older systems in here for now on, since it's close to the computer, which is right there. Before, everything was in the other room. It made it quite difficult. It's a accoutrement of jackets. But yeah, it kind of sucks that every time I try to film something, there's dog biscuits, if that interests you. Every time I try to film something or do something, I always feel like there's some sort of compromise. So I'm really sorry. I need to get a new battery. I had no idea the battery was in this bad a shape. But I guess that's what happens when you don't use your camera that often. I would like to use it more and do video vlogs like this, because that seems to be what people are more into now. And I know I still film the old-fashioned style. I do it with a capture card, but if I filmed it, I just don't think I'm at the popularity level where anybody would even stop and watch if I record the film, even though there's some sort of charm to that to me personally, but there's lots of stuff I like that other people don't like. So It's fine. I'll do the capture card videos, but I would like to do more vlogs, but they're really hard for me because I'm super shy, and it just seems like every time I try to do these, like even with the PlayStation camera, I did one and it was bad. I did it. I think it was like an hour long. That's the cat. If you didn't know what that type of animal was, I did one and yeah, I forgot to turn the sound on. It's just one thing after another. But hopefully this was an interesting video, and hopefully it looks nice with this particular camera. I'm doing this with a real camera, just why the battery ran out. But I haven't used it in so long. I have no idea how it'll turn out. So hopefully decent. So thank you so much, and I will talk to you on the next video. Take care. Bye.